Your phone shows $100 million verified. The frozen peas in your lap are melting through the seat. You haven't told a single person, but your family already knows. The lottery footage aired the store, the timestamp, and a sleeve your older sister would recognize from across any room. To understand how a grocery store parking lot became a family emergency in under an hour, you have to see what Maya saw before you even started the car. You are still in the driver's seat. The engine is off. The receipt from Torres Grocery sits on the dashboard. 3 bags of frozen vegetables, a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, total $11.40. 40 minutes ago, you scanned the ticket on the state lottery app. The number came back. You verified it twice, then a third time. The app showed a screen that said claim instructions would follow. No confetti, no sound. Just a number and a bag of peas going soft in your lap. Then your phone buzzed. Not the lottery app. The family group chat. Maya sent a screenshot from the local news. The broadcast showed Torres Grocery on 5th and Crane, 2 blocks from your apartment. The reporter gave the time of purchase, 6:12 p.m. You remember the clock above the register, 6:11. Then the security camera still, grainy but clear enough. The sleeve was unmistakable, a charcoal quarter zip your mother bought you 2 Christmases ago, the one with the small hole near the left cuff that Maya always told you to throw out. Maya's first message was 3 words, "That's his jacket." 47 messages followed in 9 minutes. Your father Ravi sent a voice memo, 41 seconds long. Cousin Leo sent a contact card for a guy who invests in crypto. Aunt Priya sent a single question mark, then another 12 seconds later. You can see the notification count climbing on your lock screen without even opening it. So what would you have done? Driven home, called a lawyer, turned the phone off, and sat in the parking lot until the peas were soup? You put the car in reverse. You are going to drive home, 6 blocks, but your hand moves to the turn signal and points left. Left is away from home. Left is the office of Elena Marsh, an independent financial advisor a co-worker mentioned once 8 months ago during a lunch break. You didn't save the number. You didn't write it down. But you remember the street. Harker Lane, 2nd floor, beside the dry cleaner. You don't go home because home is where the group chat becomes a living room. And the living room will be full before you get there. Elena's office is small. 1 desk, 2 chairs, a window facing the alley. She is eating a sandwich when you walk in, and she puts it down without wiping her hands. You show her the phone. She looks at the screen for 4 seconds, then looks at you. She says 3 things in the first minute. First, do not tell anyone else. Second, do not transfer anything to anyone today. Third, the claim process for a prize this size typically involves a trust or legal entity rather than an individual name. But that depends on the jurisdiction, and she is not your attorney. She says all of this is general guidance, not specific advice, and you need separate legal counsel before you sign a single document. She hands you a notepad. She says, write down every person who knows. You write 5 names: Maya, Ravi, Leo, Aunt Priya, and the cashier at Torres Grocery, a young woman named Destiny who probably doesn't know yet, but will by tonight. Elena reads the list. She says the problem isn't the people who know. The problem is the people they're about to tell. She is right. Your phone buzzes again before you finish the sentence. Not the group chat this time. A text from Maya, separate, private, with no one else watching. It says, I won't tell anyone. Just tell me it's real. You stare at the message. The peas are still in the car, completely thawed by now. You don't answer. Not yet. Elena watches you and says nothing. She slides a second notepad across the desk. One word at the top. Boundaries. She says the next 48 hours will determine the next 40 years. Not because of the money, because of the relationships. Every person who finds out will form an expectation within the first conversation. Once that expectation forms, adjusting it will feel like a withdrawal. And every withdrawal from a relationship carries a cost that doesn't show up on any balance sheet. Your phone buzzes. Ravi, a second voice memo, 90 seconds long. You can see the waveform rising and falling on the lock screen. You don't play it. You know his voice already. He'll talk about the restaurant, the one that has been breaking even for 6 years, the one your mother poured her savings into before she passed, the one on Marsh Street with the leaking roof and the kitchen that failed its last inspection. He won't ask directly. He'll tell a story about your mother, and the story will be the ask. Leo texts next. No greeting, just, I've got a deck. Can I send it? Aunt Priya doesn't text. She calls. You let it ring. The phone vibrates against Elena's desk like a metronome. 6 rings, voicemail, then a text. We should talk as a family. Not a request, a summons. Elena says you need 3 rules before you walk into any room with them. No same-day transfers, no private side deals. And every request goes in writing. Not because you don't trust them, but because writing slows people down. A text that says, "Can you help with my mortgage?" becomes a document that says, "Here is the amount. Here is the timeline. Here is what I'm asking for and why." Some requests will survive that process. Most won't. And the ones that don't would have cost you the relationship either way. She pauses. She says, "There's a 4th rule, but it's not about them. It's about you. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to say not yet. You are allowed to say, I need to think about this for a week. You are allowed to change your mind. The money does not cancel your agency." You write the 4 rules on the notepad. Your handwriting is small and tight, the way it gets when you're trying to make the page last. That evening, you don't go home. You can't. You drive to a motel on Route 9, the kind with exterior doors and a vending machine that hums through the wall. You book one night. You turn off your phone. You sit on the bed and eat a gas station sandwich and stare at the ceiling. The next morning, Maya calls. You answer because she is your sister, and you have answered her calls since you were 9 years old. She says she told her husband, just him, no one else. She promises. You ask her not to tell anyone else, and she says, of course. There is a pause. Then she says the word mortgage, and the pause fills with something heavy. She says they're 3 months behind. She says the kids' school fees are due in 2 weeks. She says she wouldn't ask if it weren't real. You say you need time. She says, of course. The pause comes back. You hang up and sit on the motel bed, and the vending machine hums through the wall like a second heartbeat. Ravi calls next. You answer because he is your father. He talks for 11 minutes. He mentions the restaurant 4 times. He mentions your mother 6 times. He does not use the word money once. He uses the word future 3 times. You say you need to talk to an attorney first. He says, of course. The silence after that is different from Maya's silence. It has disappointment in it, and the disappointment has a specific shape, the shape of a son who has something his father needs and is not giving it. Leo sends the deck. You open it on your phone. 17 slides. The ask is on slide 14. $500,000 for 40% equity in a logistics platform. The projections show revenue of 12 million in year 3. There is no mention of a salary for Leo. There doesn't need to be. The deck is the salary. Aunt Priya calls again. You answer this time because ignoring her has become its own kind of answer. She says the family should meet. She says everyone is worried. She says the word loyalty once, the way she says it at every funeral, like a bridge between what people owe each other and what they're afraid won't be there when they reach for it. You agree to a dinner. Elena says don't. You agree anyway. The dinner is at Ravi's restaurant, the one with the leaking roof. 9 people around 2 pushed-together tables. Maya and her husband, Ravi, Leo, Aunt Priya and her son, Vikram. 2 cousins you haven't seen since the holidays. And you. The table has more food than anyone will eat. Ravi made the lamb. Maya brought wine. Aunt Priya brought her ledger. Not literally, but you can feel it in the way she arranges the napkins, each one squared to the table edge like an entry waiting to be recorded. For 2 hours, it goes better than you expected. Maya shows you photos of her kids. Ravi tells the story about the time you burned the rice and pretended it was intentional. Leo makes a joke about crypto that almost lands. Vikram talks about his job at the warehouse and doesn't mention the money once. You begin to think, maybe the worst is over. Then you see Vikram's phone. It's leaning against the salt shaker. The screen is on. The camera app is open. A red dot pulses in the upper corner. The stream has 12 viewers. The title of the stream reads, Our cousin won the lottery, live family dinner. The room doesn't change. The lamb is still warm. Maya is still showing photos. But the air becomes something different. Something that was private a second ago and is now a product. 12 strangers are watching you eat your father's lamb and deciding what your family means to them.